Right, I nearly fell off my seat at the start, and we were just talking about being professional, but here we are. I survived, and welcome to the Quantum Bridge. Another
Hello.
episode, everyone, today from a chilly, frosty England. This side, anyway, this side of the pond. So, Casper and BB, the little cat.
Not so little.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
He's just eaten about 15 chicken breasts, mate. He's
Right, like you.
he's a big boy. Yeah.
Anyway, on to the matters of the day. Can you introduce our new guest for us today, please?
I can, and I will. Casey, welcome. How you doing?
Hello. I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Yeah, it's good to see you. Yeah. All the better for having a guest all the way from the States. So yeah, thank you for joining us. Obviously, we actually saw you or learned about you via Ellie Webber or Eli Webber, depending upon what day of the week it is. And hey Eli, hey Ellie, hey Danielle, hey Skibop. I've got to say hello to a lot of your guys as well, Casey, because obviously you've got your own show, and I urge people to tune into that. We will put all Casey's details in the show more of the description section here. So Casey, if you don't mind, can you sort of introduce yourself a bit, just for those that aren't aware of who you are and where you are?
Well, I basically emerged from watching Eli Webber's show, and he, like you guys noticed, he gave out the advice that maybe if we have something to talk about, maybe we should start our own show. So then people that were also in that chat room said, yeah, you definitely should start a show. So I started a show. And so I've been doing these little news report things throughout the years for about 2 years. And then now that people are awakening, we've kind of merged away from that to be more of a live interactive chat kind of show. So then I like to play music, like do some healing kind of music instead of, all of the stressful stuff or he said, she said stuff. It's more of a goof off and relax kind of theme. So
yeah, it's got a very nice chilled vibe, and I can't believe how you managed to get away with playing all of these radio stations and songs, but long may it continue, Casey.
Yes. No, I know that there's a couple platforms that won't allow it, but
right.
I see it as I don't do anything out of the way to do it. Like I just turn on the radio.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Anybody can do. So if that needs copyright, then shouldn't be playing.
It is what it is.
Don't talk to me about that. I've just been doing a project with my brother, and even though we have paid for samples, you still get pulled up, and still have problems.
Right.
We're going through that at the minute with the project. It's even when you do it by the book, you still they still try and stop your creativity.
Yeah, and then I do decodes of the Akashic record on the Gematria website, and so the Gematrix website is a little bit of a mixture of Akashic records, biblical stuff, and military communication, along with other people just putting stuff in there, see something, say something kind of stuff. So it's like a hub of information from all kinds of different dimensions. So even when I do those decodes, I put them on the X Twitter, and those decodes come back as a hate speech or something. And I'm like,
what can you do?
What can you do?
Yeah. We just got to keep going. I mean, yeah, I love the vibe of what you're doing, because it's got that real community feel, and it's really, really lighthearted. And by the way, love the glasses. They're a bit of a Casey thing, right? So maybe we should touch on them for a moment. Is there a particular rationale? I noticed the red, white, and blue, of course.
Right, and it's basically no matter what, I'm always for God and country. So it's like a way. And then also, if you watch The Matrix,
Yeah.
they put their sunglasses on to hide from the agents, you know.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same kind of thing, because I've had so many platforms taken down, so many profiles taken down just for telling the truth. I mean, I got kicked out of the military for telling the truth.
Mm.
So it's like, I kind of have to, I feel like I have to kind of put a veil up of some sort, but not too much.
Yeah.
So this is kind of my way to get through all of the obstacles of the internet and such.
Well, I did want to touch on that thing about the military and your background and even your childhood, if you want to go there as well. Because, like, for a lot of the people that I was into before we started the channel, and for years now, I've been into sort of the alternative stuff, probably my whole life, but certainly since sort of the 80s and 90s. And I was really into, for a while, the whole sort of super soldier thing and whatever as well. And this idea of bloodlines and people have been tampered with since early, i.e., even before they were born, and choosing your incarnation and all this stuff, you know, all the real interesting stuff. So I just wondered if any of that resonates with you, not because you said the military, but just generally. I sort of pick up that you've got a bit of a backstory there, Casey.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I didn't really have too many people in my family that was in the military or anything, but what happened was on September 11th, I was staying with someone who worked at the Amtrak station in Union Station right next to the Pentagon, right in DC,
Yeah.
Washington, DC. And when all of the attacks happened that day, there was a bombing. She called me up and she said, we're being bombed, right? And the debris was coming through the tunnels of the train tracks. So it wasn't a plane that crashed, it was a bomb. And that moment that it happened is when we found out that it was a bomb, because of what she witnessed. So then from then on, I decided to go into the military to try to help fight whatever was bombing us. But then we find out that it wasn't an outside source, it was an inside source, and it was the people we were working for. So it's like, oh, okay, well, you're not going to be able to fight that if you want a paycheck, right?
Yeah.
So then things started happening where I told the truth and went to a party and told the truth about that. And apparently it was a blacklist club. So I got kicked out of the military because I told the truth about it, although they didn't find anything in my system or anything like that. It's just the fact that I went somewhere they didn't want me to go on leave. But anyways, so then I went to Lakenheath, England, or I was supposed to go to Lakenheath, England for my first base, but I had the tickets to go there, but I was already kicked out, so I couldn't go there to do the military stuff. So I went there anyway to Penrith, Cumbria, which is right below Scotland. I'm sure you know. But then I stayed there for a while, but I was only on a 6-month visa, but I stayed for over a year. And then the Bobbies come in and they kicked me out of England. So ever since then, I've been, paying attention to the military and to the government and how it treats the people and different stuff. And then whenever this COVID stuff came around, I started speaking up about that because I was like, oh, the way that they're talking, it sounds more like a Holocaust instead of a trying to help you. The way the names, the words that they were trying to say, it sounds like a lot of history repeating itself. So I was just like calling that out. And then I noticed that every platform I was on was getting shut down. And I was like, well, something ain't right about this. Then my tax returns got halted. And then I tried to get another job to get a different money source. And then they could not even give me a job because the IRS had me on some sort of list where I could not get paid. So then my tax returns didn't come. I couldn't get a job to get paid. And I was like, what am I going to do? So then I was like, well, maybe I will go protest and try to get the word out that way. They can't shut me down if I'm there in person, right? So then I started doing that. Then I realized that there was a lot of infighting on the people that were the patriots that were protesting to have equal rights. It turned out it was not equal rights. It's only Black rights. And I said, well, I'm looking at it as equal, like everybody's the same human race, not your color, but the race of humans against the not so human types. But they don't understand that. So it's like that was a pain in the butt. But ever since I've been doing this videos online on my Rumble channel, it has like stuck where they haven't erased it. And then I went on Clout Hub, which is also a really good platform to get on, and they don't have commercials and they don't erase it. And the person that's in charge of Clout Hub right now, Todd Callender, is super, super nice. He's even gotten into my comments and said that I'm consistent, that he has no problem with my content, because people are like, oh, you need to put more clothes on. You need to do this. You can't do that. You need to fix your teeth. Da, 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 da. And it's like, and Todd Callender's like, no, she's fine. She can keep her channel. So that
was there a particular reason that you wanted to come over to the UK? And also, I know you mentioned, was it Lakenheath and obviously Penrith, which, I know very well, the Lake District and Cumbria and that area, and I love it. Well, the weather's not great, but the area is pretty amazing. Why did you want to do that, Casey?
Oh, because at the club that I was at, the dance club that I was at, I met someone from England. Right. And we became friends because we danced the same way. You know, we liked the same music, and I liked his accent and he liked my accent. So he was like, come over to England with me. And I said, well, it's funny because I got orders to go to Lakenheath, England, and I got these tickets to go over there anyways. I might as well, right? So that was why. And then you said, Cumbria. Do you remember a little sandwich shop called Megabytes?
No, I don't. No.
Oh, okay. But it was like, that's where I worked at with Darla. Right. But right. Yeah.
Well, amazing. Yeah. And was this also to do with the whole thing of sort of DUMS and the deep underground military bases and whatever? Was that an aspect of this as well? Did that come into your field of vision at the time?
Oh no, at the time I had no clue about the deep underground military bases. It was more of, I needed to not get in further trouble in America, and I had somebody that had a place for me to stay. So I'll go.
Yeah, they sound perfectly decent reasons to me. Yeah. Okay. And can I just hop back, because I'm sure Gary will jump in with some questions now as well, but I just hop back to your childhood. Was there anything else? Because I get the feeling that all of us who are sort of called in this area, and I mean our audiences too, right? I don't just mean us. I mean anyone who tunes in literally to this, that we've somehow we're here for a reason. We've been prepared for this. It's many, many lifetimes. There's a lot of other things that appear to be going on. Do you feel any of that, Casey?
Oh yeah, I've always been the black sheep of my family, and the one that would investigate things more than just accept things. I worked for the church from early morning until everybody was gone, setting it up and cleaning it up and helping as much as I could with the lights and the music and stuff like that. So at a very young age, I had a very responsible task list, So I think that might have molded a lot of my personality and my priorities in a lot of ways. But at the same time, I'm not a very religious person. I'm more into the spiritual realms. And because of my uncle, before he died of cystic fibrosis, he let me know the certain ways that he was going to communicate with me before he died. That after he died, he was going to communicate with me through some Tracy Chapman song and maybe even Melissa Etheridge song that he liked. Right. And so it was like he prepared me for his death so that way I could communicate with his spirit. And that's what it started happening. And then I had a job where I was doing security for Walmart, of all places. And every time that song came on the overhead speaker, there was something going on. And everything started connecting. And I understood that the spiritual realm was either protecting me or communicating with me at some point in my life. So.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, lovely as well. Gary, have you got anything? Because I might monopolize usually, so I'll be quiet for a minute.
That's all right, mate. I just something that popped into my head before we came on, actually, and it was around that whole sort of EBS thing, the emergency broadcast system. that a lot in the community talk about and either waiting for. I remember even Ellie did a song about it, the EBS Blues.
Oh yes.
Yeah, which was I don't know if he's posted that one, but yeah, he used to sing it a lot. That was interesting. And it got me thinking, in the UK at the moment, there is a lot of disclosure going on around the corruption, the little ones, because it's out on YouTube. But and I was thinking, well, around the EBS, is it better? I've always felt in a more organic way that the disclosure is for the people, by the people, rather than, I don't know how you feel about that. I mean, maybe we do need a big slap round the face eventually, but it seems at the moment it's coming in a more organic way. I don't know how you feel about that. Are you still excited about a big EBS thing, or you don't care? How do you feel
Well,
about
the
it?
EBS, like there's more than just one type of EBS as well. So there's a lot of decoding that I do that involves the emergency broadcast system. Then whenever the Elon Musk guy talks about Mars, that's also like a military EBS because of the radio system that the military auxiliary radio system or something like that is spells out Mars with the letters. Then if you take it to the DoD Law of War Manual, the chapter 5.11.1 is basically the EBS, where the military come in and they try to find the things that are going wrong, look for any suspicious characters, and then prepare the community visually that the military is in control without really like arresting people. And then that's when they start doing the arrest, is whenever they find where these people are hiding, like wherever they are. That's an EBS. Then when the Empire State Building starts doing interesting colors, that's an EBS. Like there's all kinds of different EBS. Like there was a funeral on TV on CNN the other day for Jimmy Carter, and at 10:39 a.m. there was an EBS interruption where the screen was different colors and it was like blocked out for a little bit while someone was talking. So, I mean, they keep happening. There was some EBSs happening in Los Angeles area in California because they have some fires going on right now that are interestingly similar to the Maui fires that happened in Hawaii. So they think it's a direct energy weapon, which is basically an EBS. So like there's all kinds of different types of EBS. So yeah, it is exciting, but being able to recognize them and understand them when you see them is the part that a lot of people aren't catching on to, because it's not always the same type, you know?
Yeah, not the.
So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for all of them.
Yeah, I know. A lot of people are waiting for their phones to start buzzing and God knows what. I think I
Yeah,
switched
but us
mine off.
talking about this is just like you said, it is a personal EBS to the others that may not understand what's going on. So yeah, it is about us bringing it to people's attention. I agree.
Yeah.
It's sort of like each time we reach a slightly different audience, any of us, and like these lovely sort of crossovers, you know, between all of us, and we're expanding our networks, for want of a better phrase. It just sort of our reach and our engagement and whatever. I agree that there's something about that frequency and that engagement that is probably it is all of it, as you rightly point out, is a type of EBS. And I think that's a really nice way to look at it. I mean, I've never been too worried about this idea of sort of 10 days of darkness and these repeat videos running and what, because mainly I don't think we'd be seeing anything that was, I'm not saying that we'd see nothing new or no, it couldn't shake us as well by any means, but I think that that's not really for us, isn't it? Isn't that
Right.
just for those people who as yet haven't decided which sort of lane they want to choose?
Exactly. I agree with that.
Yeah. I think there was another interesting post I read. I wish I could remember the chap, but I might invite him on anyway. But he was talking about his favorite conspiracy of being the nobody, that that it would be, you know, a nobody that would turn all this around, and whether that is just a singular guy or a consciousness among the people, that it would just be the normal, not this savior big guy type thing, that it actually would ripple through the consciousness of the nobodies,
Right.
and gradually turn things around. And you could argue, I think, that is in process. I mean, I know me and Casper weren't thinking about doing this 5 years ago, and like yourself, yeah, it's something where just regular people have decided, well, I'm going to get involved and try and do something, and change this situation. So, if you feel about that, sort of the nobodies, but
Yeah, I totally agree that, like, we call them anons, but
there you go, yeah.
the anonymous we the people, but the anonymous we the people, not the ones that are like, buy my gold, but here's all my information and give me all your money. Like, it's not that. It's the people that are doing it without a face. Although, like, I show video of my face, I still have the sunglasses on, because it's not about just me. It's about the country. It's about the people, And now that we are doing a more worldwide type of unity, then it's not just America anymore. It's now the world, or the plane, however you look at it.
Yeah, the plane, I think, is a beautiful way of saying it. The frequency. I do like what Eli has been saying recently. I know he references Lord of the Rings quite a lot, and the whole Bilbo Baggins thing and whatever, which has a big resonance for me, right? Because my dad always used to call me Bilbo Baggins, and I love the idea. It's like the smallest, most inconspicuous, most unlikely beings that are going to change things. And I think that that's us. I believe that that's us and our audience between us, because it's sort of just, decent, good human beings who just through their words and their connection are creating a type of energy that can't be stopped. And for me, that's the thing of, nothing can stop what's coming.
Yeah.
Well, it can't stop us. What's coming is us.
Right. We are the storm.
We're the storm. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're the cavalry we've been waiting for. We're all of those things. Yes, it's nice to have some figureheads, and it's interesting to watch the play and get your popcorn out. And a lot of this has been very painful for a lot of us, and for our audience, and for all of ourselves here, and our close friends and family, those who've stayed true to us, right? It's been a painful 4 or 5 years. Yes. But it just feels like we've got this. I don't know how you feel about this, Casey, but on a lot of our shows, we talk about this energetic support that we've all started to feel over the last couple of years. How does that play into your own sort of senses and feeling, and even decodes?
Yeah, well, I take them. I graduate people once I realize that they resonate at the same frequency I do, which is normally the 432, 528 frequency of love and healing and pureness. Conscious.
I don't know about that bit, but still. Yeah.
But yeah, that's where I'm going with that. I graduate people once I realize that they are trying to spread the same message, and they resonate with me and I resonate with them. They are becoming my soul family, and I am their soul family, however they want to look at it. But everything I do, I try to do with the intention of love, because I do know from my record, or my Akashic Records studies, that God is love, and you cannot have the feeling of God without the feeling of love within. So it's like, if your heart is beating, God is there. So that way, anything that you need, you can be provided that, as long as you show love. That's what I've, in my studies at least. Like, I'm not.
Yeah, but also, I mean, the studies are one thing, and I love that, and we absolutely resonate with this thing of a soul family, because we've basically all graduated towards new families, right? And they might be thousands of miles away, and people we'd never met before, and we're suddenly realizing we've got more in common with those guys, and hopefully those people with us, than we have with people who we grew up for the last 30, 40, 50. I won't say anymore, but a certain amount of years, right?
Right. No, I agree. I've basically lost everyone that I was friendly with and stuff like that growing up, because they thought I was crazy, because I was coming at them with actual things that I found. And And then I'm like, well, what the fruition? You know, it's actually happening. And they're like, yeah, I'm gonna, you know, conveniently look the other way.
Yeah. Well, it's not easy. I mean, the other thing about all of this, and Gary will testify to this as well, that one, it's not easy standing in your own truth, right? And despite what anybody else thinks of you, and being willing to let them fall away if they have to. I haven't actually pushed anybody away, but a lot of people appear not to be so engaged with me anymore, right? So and that's fine. It's how it is. But I've got this whole new wave of people who I like, so that's great. And I just think
around the world too.
Yeah, around the world, and it's part of the journey, isn't it? So
right.
Yeah, I mean, we've had guests from all different countries on here. That was another aspect to show that it wasn't just, you know, the US or just the UK. That it's a global event. You know, it's
right.
So we try and have people from as many countries as possible, really. You know.
Oh yeah. Before we run out of time, I have to ask you about something that's very important to me, that became important to me when I went over to England. What is your experience with crumpets?
Well, now Gary is the man to answer that.
It can mean two different things in the UK.
Yeah, it does mean.
I'm just going to assume that you're talking about the little round things with the holes in them.
Yes.
You mean food, right?
Food, yes.
Food, yeah. Thank you, Casper.
It's all right.
Going down another hole, but yes. Let me phrase this. I like a nice crumpet.
Me too. I do. Do you know Americans don't have any clue what a crumpet is? They don't even sell those here.
But they do have muffins, right?
They have muffins, but there's nothing like a crumpet.
No.
I'll get Steve to add a picture on here.
Yeah. Because you have to drizzle all the butter on top. That's the most important part.
We're big butter fans here.
Yes,
no margarine here.
I love some buttery crumpets myself. I had to put that out there because Americans have no clue the heaven of that bite of crumpet.
Yeah, but you know what? There's part of me, maybe where you are in the States, it's slightly different actually, Casey. But I often, when I end up in the States, I head for warmth, right? So I either go to the west and downwards, maybe Arizona, places like that, or I go down to like Florida and whatever. A crumpet's useless there, right? But if you're in Maryland, you're in New York, you're in New Jersey, you're up in Canada, you're in Rhode Island. Hello to our very nice and engaging viewer there. Then I think a crumpet might go down quite nicely.
I agree.
Yeah. Did you try the scones, the jam, and
scones are good, but there's nothing that beats a crumpet. Like I tell you. I had to have one of those in my cupboard at all times when I was in England.
Yeah. Also, where you were, particularly when you were up in the Lake District in Cumbria and whatever, which is, as you rightly point out, right on the border up there with Scotland, so it can get properly cold and wet and miserable up there. Although it's a beautiful, beautiful place, so I invite people to come over to England and take a look at that. But that is a good place for crumpets.
Amazing people up there. I did not meet anybody that I had a problem with. I mean, there was some Scousers that was a little wild sometimes, but they were all beautiful people, wonderful people. Like always there to help, always there to listen. They definitely wanted to listen to me say American words.
Casey, did you ever watch the film With Nail and I?
No. I haven't.
You need to watch it and watch out. It's called With Nail, all one word, and I.
And I.
It's by a guy called Bruce Robinson, who actually did threaten that he might come on the show one day. We'll see. But anyway, there's a tea shop scene in With Nail and I that for me is one of the funniest scenes ever. So you might need an English sense of humor to get it. But
then I'll get it. I definitely enjoyed my time there.
Also,
I bet you did. Yeah, I'm sorry that they threw you out. We'll have you back.
It's
you know how it is.
Ulverston, which is the birthplace of Stan Laurel, up in that way. One of my favourites, Laurel and Hardy. So also, he left to go to the US, obviously, and became a big star.
Right.
Yeah.
That's one of my other loves, along with kung fu movies. But that's for another conversation. So, as you
So,
expected, we're coming close to the end of the time. So,
yeah, I was just thinking whether there's any other mutual people that I should do a shout out to. So for us all, so Ellie and Danielle, obviously, Brian and Corinne, I think it is at Spiritual Bean. I know Ellie often says hi to them, and they've just become subscribers to us. Or and Skibop, we said, because I think he shows up for you and for Ellie, doesn't he? And yeah, big hello to all of the people that watch your material. Casey.
And I'm gonna have a fun day Sunday with Mary Jane tonight. So she's a hero. She cures cancer. Like,
hey, Mary Jane.
So
you'll be welcome to chat
Mary
to
Jane.
us.
She's been working her ass off over there.
And there's also Madison, isn't there?
Huh?
There's a Madison as well, I think.
Madison,
yeah. Hey, Madison. Yeah,
yeah,
because she does that little sort of few-minute skit thing, doesn't she? Where
the battle cry.
The battle cry. Yeah, the battle cry. Yeah,
she loves
I like the battle.
We all love that battle cry. She did an amazing job on it. But last night she even reminded me, she's like, it's not just from me, it's for all of us. And
it's for all of us.
But you wouldn't have it without you. So
exactly.
You are the one that gave it to us. We thank you.
That's right. Yeah, we all do. Yeah. So anyway, listen, you'd be welcome back anytime, Casey. Thank you for taking the time to join. And,
yeah, my pleasure. My pleasure.
Yeah, let's have another chat sometime. And it's just great to build these bridges between the US and the UK and worldwide. We're open to all, as you are. So
right.
Thank you very much. We hope to see you again.
See you next time, Casey. Thank you.
All right, see you next time.
Love your show.
Have a lovely day.
Thank you.
All right.
See you. Crumpets.
Crumpets, yes.